is the Celebrity Afterlife Report podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Celebrity Afterlife Report for the week of January 12, 2015. I'm your host, the Celebrity Medium. I have what I think is a great lineup of hot gossip about all your favorite deceased celebrities for you this week. Let's get this ball rolling. Actress Donna Douglas, best known for her work as Ellie May on the Beverly Hillbillies TV show of the 60s, transitioned to the next world on New Year's Day. As I reported last week, no sooner had she arrived in the afterlife when Ms. Douglas requested a private meeting with Marilyn Monroe. At the meeting, she confessed a lifelong fascination with Monroe's life and asked for permission to play her in a biopic she wants to write. Monroe was tickled by the idea, said she would try to find someone to produce and direct the movie. I can now report that Monroe got in touch with longtime director Otto Preminger, who was very excited about the project. So it looks as if this thing is actually going to get off the ground. Right? Well, this wouldn't be a true Celebrity Afterlife Report story without some wrinkle, would it? Everything was proceeding nicely on the project until a monkey wrench was thrown into the works. A monkey wrench named Andy Warhol. As I've been reporting, Monroe was engaged to the pop artist, a relationship that surprised many in the next world, mostly because it was well known that Warhol was gay on the earthly plane. Despite the unlikeliness of their pairing, the two seem to be very much in love, with rumors circulating about Warhol getting upset when men would try to flirt with Marilyn in public. The latest from my afterlife sources is that Andy is putting his foot down about Donna Douglas playing his fiancée in a film. Sources say that Andy had a very public tantrum recently, in which he told Monroe that no one, least of all a third-rate TV actress, as he called Douglas, should be portraying Marilyn. Monroe was very upset by the scene Warhol was making and angry that he was demanding she go back on her word to Douglas and Preminger. The two left the restaurant they were at in separate cars and haven't been seen together in public since. As I told you on last week's report, former New York Governor Mario Cuomo recently transitioned to the afterlife also. Asked upon his arrival what he would like to do in his new existence, he replied he would like to run for office again. When he was informed that there is no formal government in the next world, the governor then said he would like to work to eradicate poverty. He was then told there is no poverty in the afterlife. Now, while he was pleased with that, Cuomo seemed unsure of how he would spend eternity. We now have an answer to that question. Okay, I've been doing these reports based on information I get from my Next World paparazzi sources for some time. I know that many people there make life choices that they wouldn't or couldn't have on the earthly plane, and I've heard and have related to you some wild stories on previous editions of the report, but this one surprised even me. Former New York State Governor Mario Cuomo has decided to become, wait for it, a rodeo clown. Rodeo clowns, or bullfighters as they prefer to be known these days, are guys with painted faces who distract the bull when the rider is thrown off to protect him from being gored. It's a very dangerous occupation and controversial in the next world, as some people consider rodeo to be animal cruelty. Upon hearing about Cuomo's decision, one of my sources caught up with him and asked him if he was kidding about it. Not at all, said the governor. Since I can't do what I did when I was alive, I've decided to try something completely different. I think it's time for me to take some risks, unquote. So maybe Governor Cuomo's next world nickname should be Super Mario? We've been following the ongoing story about Judy Garland and her proposed women-only town to be constructed on the outskirts of one of the afterlife's biggest cities. The Wizard of Oz star has reportedly soured on men, apparently due to her multiple failed earthly plane marriages. Her plans hit a bump, however, when male construction workers refused to help her build the community, and she couldn't find enough females trained in construction to bail her out. A knight in shining armor in the form of Fred Trump, father of the Donald, came to her rescue by promising to loan her some of his workers. Now, when I first reported this story, Mr. Trump's motivation to help Ms. Garland was unknown, but no more. According to an exclusive interview in The Bugle, the Next World newspaper run by former CBS anchorman Walter Cronkite, Mr. Trump confessed that he has long had a crush on Garland, and upon some probing by the article's writer, he admitted that he plans on proposing marriage to her in the near future. That's all well and good. After all, as I report weekly, there are a lot of unlikely couples in the next world. A question comes to mind, however. If she accepts his proposal, what does that do to her planned all-female community? Lastly, for this week's report, actor-comedian Taylor Negron transitioned to the afterlife over the weekend. You may not recognize his name, but you've almost certainly seen him on TV shows like That's So Raven, Wizards of Waverly Place, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Curb Your Enthusiasm, Reno 911, Friends, Seinfeld, ER, and movies in various roles. He was considered a comedian's comedian. When Negron arrived in the next world, one of the faces in the small crowd waiting to greet him belonged to Robin Williams, who laughingly gave his friend a huge bouquet of roses. Now, my spy, who was also there, said that Negron seemed a bit dazed upon arrival in his new existence, which is not unusual for some people when they transition. I'm told he soon came around upon recognizing Williams, and that the two had a very pleasant reunion. That's it for this week's Celebrity Afterlife Report. Please come back next week when I'll have even more up-to-the-moment gossip about all your favorite deceased celebrities. I'm the Celebrity Medium. Thanks for listening.
You've been listening to the Celebrity Afterlife Report podcast. To ask a question about your favorite deceased celebrity, call 818-3-MY-DREAM. 818-3-MY-DREAM. 818-369-3732.